We need to work double and triple harder as a woman to prove our abilities. But we should not lose hope, because once women find its space and find its seat, nobody can take that seat and opportunity from them. So fight for that space, fight for that seat, and once you are there, nobody is going to take that away from you. My motivation for my work is the love and the support that I receive from my people, but also the need for my country, for Afghanistan, for its women. And I think globally, the world has become a crazy place when it comes to justice, when it comes to equality, when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to human rights. It's not only Afghanistan. Obviously, Afghanistan has the severe violation of human rights in 21st century. We know that. But also, if you look at other parts of the world has become very, very unjust. And so it's the responsibility. And I think also we are shaped with our political and social beliefs and views are shaped by our personal experience. My personal experience as a child and what I have gone through since childhood until now hugely impacted in my career, in my fight, in my cause that I'm fighting for. And that is my source of inspiration. The day that I don't contribute to a better world, I feel that I don't exist. So that some days, when I'm like taking my time, reflecting on myself, and I give an analysis at the end of the day, I'm like, there are still so many wide areas that we as human beings could work and could contribute to a better world that I could. For me, my childhood, what I have experienced as a woman, what I have experienced, continued discrimination, continued injustice, continued exclusion, gave me the passion, gave me the reason to fix it for other women. But unfortunately, what's happening in Afghanistan now to the woman is heart-wrenching, and that gives me the reason to continue my fight. I think the major contribution I have had is paving the way for the younger generation. Because when you're the first to climb a mountain or pave a road, obviously you will have to face a lot of rocks. The road is very bumpy. The mountain is, when you climb a mountain for the first time, you make history. It is not easy because you pave it for others. You basically go to unknowns, you go to uncertain areas, and walking into unknowns is not always easy. And this is what I have done. I have started roads that not many people actually walked before, and it came with rocks, it came with bumpy roads, but I have taken it forward. And I think the first thing that I am always proud, not only me, and I think most women who have been active in the last 20 years, is that the fact that we paved the way for other women. We inspired them, we gave them the reason that, as a woman, you can do it too. As a woman, we are no longer invisible. We are no longer second-class citizens. The moment you decide to do something, you can do it. You just need to believe in yourself, believe in your capacity, be passionate about what you do, and then you can do it. It has not been easy. Obviously, then throughout this bumpy road, I have achieved or contributed so much in terms of tabling the laws that will protect women from violence. At some point, even in my society, violence was regarded as a normal thing in a woman's life by women themselves, because that's what they were experiencing. So for me, to table a law that will protect women from violence, I did not only face opposition by some of these male conservative members of our society, radicalized figures, but also by some women, because they thought this is part of their life. But we managed to have the law on violence against women and so many other laws. And I established many schools, and I continue to do that in remote areas of Afghanistan. Obviously, as I said before, my existence, like the fact that I was the first girl in our family to be educated. I was the first girl from my area and in our family to be a member of parliament and the deputy speaker of parliament. I was the first of many things. And as I said, when you are the first, you actually have to walk and you accept that you have to pave the way for others and walk in a bumpy road. So I'm proud of so many things that I have done. I'm proud of all the laws that I tabled. I'm proud of all the schools that I have established. I'm proud of all the women and also men that I have inspired. But also in the meantime, I'm disappointed to see everything reversed in Afghanistan. I think my major lessons from these experiences, first of all, as a woman, when you become stronger, you need to accept the fact that the moment you become stronger, you find more enemies. So you really have to be ready for that, develop a thick skin, and be able to face that circumstances, face that environment, and be ready to adopt yourself based on situation. Because as a woman, when you enter the room full of men, people do not really judge about what you can bring to the table, what knowledge you can add. They always judge a woman based on her outfit and appearance. I was judged for my scarf, I was judged for my lipstick, I was judged for my clothing, and not for what I could bring to the table. It took me a lot of struggles to make them understand that what I wear is not really making any big difference. What I bring to the table makes a difference. And eventually, actually, those men realized. And this was so true in the case of negotiation with the Taliban, for instance. Initially, they thought we're just there to make the negotiation process look inclusive. We are just there as a token. But over time, I think the knowledge, the diversity, the inclusivity, the level of in-depth layers of knowledge we brought to the negotiation, all the way from the grassroots level to the policy level. We were not only live experience of what was going on in Afghanistan. We're not only an example, but we also had knowledge of what could be done for Afghanistan. The first thing was honesty. I think as a politician, you really, really need to be very honest and genuine to your people. And that was the reason, I got elected 3 times. And each time, although there was a quota in Afghanistan constitution for women to be elected, there was a 25% for women allocated seats in the parliament. But each time I was elected based on general competition and on a vast majority of votes. And the reason is, I think I was able to communicate to the people. So communication is the first thing. You need to be able to communicate to the people, but not only communicate, but communicate what you can do and what you cannot do. So be genuine and be honest to the people. I think we are human beings at the end of the day. We all have a heart and a brain that could process the information, that could take the information and could analyze it. So sometimes as a politician, we try to demonstrate that we are very resourceful, that we can do things, that we have a magical power. And at the end of the day, if we are not able to deliver, then people get disappointed. I know it's very hard to be sometimes too realistic to the people, because then it's not easy to get votes. But I think what I was trying to say is try to be connected to the people and speak people's language, means the problems that they have, speak in their own way. Walk with them, means include them in the decision making. And once they're included, once people are included in the decision making, they know that the problem that you're facing, and they will understand you. So those were my mitigation strategy. I was very transparent. I was very honest to what I could do and what I couldn't do. And also I was very persistent in following up my mission. So I wouldn't give up. And sometimes this was so true in terms of navigating conflict and resolving it, that I was so persistent in my messages and what I wanted and what I wanted to do, that the other side, or the person who wanted to have an issue, or my political opposition, or even like in my negotiation with one of the world's probably notorious group, which is the Taliban, I was very persistent in my messages in terms of what I want. So persistency, honesty, And I think inclusion of people in all steps of your decisions. I see that there is a sense of satisfaction among younger women. I see that as long as they have a computer and a job and a paid job, they think that this is, the best possible scenario and hope that they could reach. My plea, my message would be that, the generation before us really struggled to pave the way for us. We need to keep that torch alive. We need to keep that flag, up in the mountains and move forward. So having a job, having a, self-interest is important. But we need to also look around and see how we can change our surroundings for a better world. So my message is we all have certain capacities that we need to use to change the world to become a better world. Now, as a woman, obviously, we need to make double and triple harder. We need to work double and triple harder as a woman to prove our abilities. But we should not lose hope, because once women find its space and find its seat, nobody can take that seat and opportunity from them. So fight for that space, fight for that seat. And once you are there, nobody is going to take that away from you. I have come to realize that that we are actually living in a world where there is a war of perceptions. A war of perception means people in the global south have certain perspectives and views towards people especially women in the global north, in the Western world. Their perception, probably some people in the Eastern world perception, is that women in the global north are maybe more progressive, they're not sticking to their values, and it's the same also from the global north. If you look the perception of some of these people, when I talk to them and I tell them that I'm from Afghanistan, they sometimes ask me questions that I'm surprised, because they're like, oh, so women in Afghanistan are educated. And that will bring you to the point where you see that, there is so much misunderstanding and so much wrong perception about each other. I think that maybe some people in the global north have that understanding that women in this global south, in Eastern world, in the Muslim countries, Muslim women, they don't try hard, they are not educated, they are not progressive, which I think both of these views are wrong. There is a middle ground, and we have to navigate that middle ground. And that is how I navigate in the environment where I see the cultural differences. I always go for common ground, and I always engage with countries, with diplomats, with those even that they have very different views and approach comparing to me, because that's how you resolve issues, that's how you resolve problems. Engage, express your message, and find a common ground. Because we need to get out of this war of perceptions, and this misperception towards one another is not only affecting the relationship between the two worlds, the global south and global north, but all the way to our workspace, to our communities. In our community, we have certain perception towards certain people with scarf, for instance, or without scarf, with women, with people coming from certain color, certain race. And I think that creates a lot of tension even in our work environment, and even in the corporate sector, the productivity gets very, very low. That's why navigating the third room, the common ground, finding common issues, trying to talk with each other to find that third room and the common ground is very, very important. I always am in search of that common ground in my engagement with all member states, with the diplomats, with foreign countries, with decision makers. Well, under Taliban, obviously, I see Afghanistan does not have really a future, because how could a power exclude its population, especially women, 55% of a society, suppress people, and then claim that they can sustain? No power can sustain by exclusion. Politics of exclusion is not going to serve anybody. The governments, if they try to impose politics of exclusion and suppression, they might in short term survive, but in long term, the people will stay, the governments will go and come. So I think obviously the Taliban will not sustain. We need to look beyond and see how a post-Taliban government in Afghanistan will look like. So we are preparing for that, and that's why I think it's important to put women in the leadership. It's important to create a narrative that is owned by people of Afghanistan. I know geopolitics in Afghanistan, in the region, in Asia and South Asia, is shaping itself very fast. I know that there are new powers popping up. I know that the perspective and the attitude of countries in the region are different when it comes to their engagement with Taliban as opposed to the global north. We are also trying to work with countries in the region. We're trying to work with those countries that are regarded as very difficult, because we want to also influence them and demonstrate that, work with their women and tell them that you have in your own societies groups of women that contribute to your economy, contribute to your politics, contribute to the freedom, to everything that a society is entitled for its progress. It should be the same in Afghanistan. So I see my future in Afghanistan, and I see that we need to lead our own narrative, and our own narrative is a narrative which is genuine, based on the interest of people of Afghanistan and based on the will of people of Afghanistan.